I've got 3 confessions on each and every one of you. You just have to try and guess which each confession it is I'm talking about. In round 1, 3 clues. Each time you ask for an extra clue, it's 20 seconds off your score, okay? We start with you. Garage owner Guy Stevens. How do you do, Guy?
Hello, Simon.
Looking happy and confident.
Oh, yes.
You thought you were just going to have a nice night out with your girlfriend Claire and best mate Justin?
That's right, yes. Ex-best mate Justin.
Yes, they're the people who set you up. And here we go with your first clue. You were on holiday at the time. Okay.
That's not the motorcycle in the swimming pool.
Sounds as though we might be worth trying that story, Guy.
I was on holiday in Mallorca and came back from a club one night on a motorcycle and for a bet rode it into the hotel swimming pool.
No, it's not that one.
Right. Holidays. Night of the power cut in Australia, running along the balcony with a packet of contraceptives.
The way you do. I mean, that's... what was that story off?
I've forgotten it completely as well, actually.
It's okay, it's not that story
It's
either.
not that I think I'm going to need another clue on this.
Holidays?
Oh my goodness me, not with the Sainsbury's carrier bag full of pig's intestines.
I'm sorry? How many stories are there with Sainsbury's bags and pigs in... Tell us.
Well, I was at we'd gone to a resort on the south coast, and for a lark, I'd had a Sainsbury's carrier bag that was full of pig's intestines under my T-shirt, and it was secured by handles to the back of my trousers. And,
how gorgeous!
And we simulated a knife fight on the beach, and somebody slashed me with a Stanley knife, and as I ran up the beach, I was like this, and there was like hearts and lungs.
And it's not that story either. No.
Right.
You want another clue?
I think I better have another clue.
Okay, we'll take 20 off your score. You caused an injury on holiday.
Oh dear. I can't.
Mind gone blank? Or is there something that you just don't want to tell us, Guy?
No, I'm quite... Are you sure these aren't Didier's questions?
You want another clue?
Yes, I think I better.
Okay. Revenge on the campsite.
Oh, well, yes.
Where are we now?
We're at Poole in we're at Dorset in Poole. Poole in Dorset.
And you're on holiday?
Yes, yeah. And we'd gone to this campsite, and we were busy. We'd put our tent up for the night, and we got in loads of beers when we returned back from the clubs later on, left them in the tent. And we went out in the town, had a jolly good time, came back, getting ready to get stuck into the beer. And we'd noticed that the beers had been stolen from our tent. And the neighbouring 2 tents, and we'd seen the people arrive earlier in the day, there was a lot of empty beer cans outside these tents that looked very suspiciously like ours. We decided to take revenge, and we packed all our stuff into my car, which was a trusty Skoda at the time, and hooked up the 2 tents with some baling twine that I had in the car, and went to drive away. And the expected happened. The first tent went down and collapsed, but the second tent followed us in its assembled state.
So you're driving around the campsite with this fully erected tent with people inside it following you around?
That's right, yeah, it was...
So then you stopped, apologised, and...
No, I changed up a gear, carried on going, and a hand, the zip came up in the front of this tent, and this hand came out, and it was sort of like whipped back in when it touched the ground, because the ground was going pretty quick.
That is eventually the story that we wanted. Guy Stevens, yes, on 140 seconds. What a remarkable man. What a remarkable man. Didier Godon. Whoa. Yes. Here we go again, round 2. Guy, Didier and Herbert. Guy, you got a bit of ground to make up. Here we go with your next clue. This prank went off with a bang.
The fireworks at school, was it, by any chance? It was quite close to firework night, and a lot of the children when I went to school were bringing in bangers that you could buy in the shops of those days. But coming from an agricultural background, we had the real thing, which were some things called crow scarers. Particularly loud and particularly violent, and One of the things used to be do at break times, a lot of the children used to congregate in the lavatories for the purpose of smoking, and we used to roll these little bangers under the door and give them a bit of a shock.
Yeah.
But,
crow scarers.
I had some crow scarers, yes, and I had half a dozen which I taped together and lit them all at once and hurled them over the top of the partition between the doors.
And who was sitting on the loo?
Unfortunately, there was a member of staff in there as well. At the time.
That certainly scared the old crow, didn't it, eh?
Yes.
Sorry, it's not that story. Could be here all night.
A bit of bang, a prank, a hole in a roof. Would it be anything to do with?
A what?
A hole in a roof.
A hole in a roof. Let's try that one. Shall we see where we're going?
Close to where I used to live, there's some woods with a very steep hill in them, and I was out with some friends in there one Saturday afternoon, and we found an old tractor wheel, the rear wheel of a tractor, half submerged in the dirt.
So what sort of size is a tractor wheel? Just
well, if you stood it up, it was probably just slightly taller than yourself. It was with partially deflated tires and some cast iron weights that bolted into the hub to give it a bit of.
And then what happened?
Well, we spent the rest of the day taking it to the top of this very steep hill. The idea was to roll it down the hill and down the track that we'd sort of taken it up, you know. So we stood it up and gave it a bit of a push and started to follow it down the hill, and suitably impressed by its turn of speed. However,
we're all on your side here.
The tractor wheel deviated from its intended course and sort of went across uncharted territory, and it was sort of like taking down bushes and shrubberies, and eventually a fence appeared, and the wheel passed through the fence as well and into somebody's sort of private property. And at this point the woods, I mean, as I say, they're very steep. The slope dropped almost sheer, vertical, and we realised that just in front of the slope was a small house. The wheel sort of sailed off the edge of the hill and went through the roof. And
landed on the roof.
Went through the roof. Yeah.
Through the roof.
Through the upstairs bedroom ceiling. Through the bedroom floor.
Through the bedroom floor.
And down to the ground floor.
Down to the ground floor.
With bits of tiles and building materials.
Yeah. It's exactly the confession that we wanted. What a man, what a man. Guy Stevens on 140. Okay, you don't know what's been going on because you've been listening to headphones and so on, so you don't know what Didier has scored. Hit that button if you want to guess, hit that button if you want a clue. Time is of the essence now if you want to go to Bermuda. Here we go, your first clue. You gave someone a nasty surprise. Oh, and we haven't even moved down a second.
Gave somebody a nasty surprise. A friend of mine was asleep in his car and I threw a goose in through the sunroof.
I can see how that would fit, but it's not the story, and we're counting down. You gave someone a nasty surprise. Stopping 136.
I better have a clue, I think.
Okay, 20 off your score. This happened at work, and we're counting down.
I wasn't when I walked around behind. Oh, sorry. Yeah, a partner of mine was working, and we had a car in to do some work upon, and whilst we were cleaning out the boot because it was in to be valeted as well, we found this sort of this white patent leather bag, and there was like an attachment in it, and it turned out to be like a hydro breast massager, and you sort of like, it looked a bit like a funnel on a piece of pipe, and you plugged one end on the tap and the other end on your chest and turned the tap on. And
I'm sorry about this. I'm sorry.
Well, you did ask. And when the lady came back to collect her car, he had to sort of, you know, meet her with a straight face because she wasn't the sort of person who'd expect to have one of these in the boot and give her car back. And I was walking around like behind her out of sight with a funnel and a piece of hose pipe I found in the workshop.
It's not that story. Sorry. And on we go. Counting down.
I better have another clue.
Okay. 20 off your score. These pasties taste a bit funny.
Ah, yeah, I know what happened there. Yeah, I used to work in a pie factory, and a friend of mine at the time was an electrician, and he used to take a packed lunch to work every day, and all his mates used to scrounge his lunch off him. So being a kind-hearted chap, I tried to help him out of this situation, and I made him some pasties with alternative fillings.
I sense here the key phrase is alternative fillings.
Yeah, well, the pie factory was in a rural area, and there was a riding stables nearby. And it was something I found on the road. So.
Shall we leave the rest blank?
Well, I made a dozen, but I never found 6.
We'll leave it there. That's the story. Yes, nice one, Guy. He was in the lead at the end of the last round. Let's see if he can make it to Bermuda. Here comes Herbert.